say like God created everything and you say what created God, they say, oh, that's illogical because God always was and always will be. But then when you bring up the argument that the universe could have always existed, the counter argument is, well, that makes no sense. Something had to have created it. But then when they say, okay, well then what created it? God. Well, what created God? God always was and always will be. But that's not illogical. But the fact that the universe could have always created is illogical. To say
Okay, so this is the problem with most atheists. They completely misunderstand the arguments that theists bring. Like the guy in the video, he said that theists, or the people who believe in God, they say that God can be eternal, but the universe has to have a creator. But then when asked about who is the creator of God, then they just say God is just eternal, or that God has no creator. This is not really what theists say. Theists give arguments why something like God needs to necessarily exist, an eternal, non-temporal being, while universe intrinsically has to be non-eternal because it is temporal. For example, we have scientific evidence that the universe is temporal, or meaning it has a beginning in time. But besides that, before the evidences of Big Bang, many philosophers used to argue that the universe was non-eternal, meaning it had a beginning. And they used to argue from the fact that the universe literally changes. The fact that it changes, the fact that it has time within it, shows that there are a limited numbers of events that must have occurred, or limited number of changes that must have occurred. And if there are limited number of changes that occurred, then there needs to be a beginning for the changes to occur, or the beginning of the universe, or the beginning of time. So yes, this is how the philosophers or thinkers who are theists will argue that universe had a beginning. And if the universe has a beginning, then the universe is not eternal. But something cannot just pop into existence out of nothing. 0 plus 0 can never be 1. So there has to be a being that is not temporal, does not change, and is eternal. And that being is what we call God. So when we say that God is eternal and the universe is created, we have sufficient reason for saying that. We say that because we literally can reason and show that the universe has to be non-eternal, has to have a beginning, and we can show that rationally, logically, it is necessary there is a being that is eternal. Otherwise, the universe just popped into existence out of nothing, or there was an infinite regress where we have infinite changes again. So atheists really need to start actually thinking about what our arguments really say.